the ten biggest scams that your family encourages you to fall for. So, number 10, paying your dues. This is something we hear a lot in the construction industry, especially from old timers. Hey, you can't just become a carpenter. Hey, you can't just become a someone with skills. You got to pay your dues, and I think that's the biggest scam. Brian, I'm sure you've heard that before, right? So paying your dues is the biggest scams. And, who are you paying your dues to, right? There's nobody collecting dues. There's nobody measuring. There's no one keeping track. So if you can skip the ladder a few rungs at a time, then do it, because nobody is paying attention. If you deserve to get a better job or a better career or a better business, then do it. No one is paying attention, especially today with the internet. You can learn a lot more today in 3 months than previous people could learn in 10 years. Number 9 is working hard. To me, and I heard this from my dad, right? My dad and my 7 uncles. Work hard, Leo, nose to the grindstone, just work hard and, success will find you. And I'm thinking, bullshit. There's got to be a huge difference between working hard and working smart, right?
To your point, Leo,
go ahead.
one of the best ways to the bottom is by actually trying to wait your turn to be promoted. Like, that doesn't do good for anyone, because that doesn't mean that you have the best person climbing the ladder. You don't have the best person with the best skills to do the job. And you have people that are good and quality workers that are just going to sit there and then get frustrated and leave. So, no, if you can skip steps, skip steps. If you know what you're doing, do the thing and market yourself and know what your own value is. That'll take you a long way.
Yeah. Number 8 is get a good job, right? To me, getting a good job is slavery, and making other people rich first never really appealed to me, right? Number 7 is getting married with kids. If I need to say more than my first divorce cost me $7 million, do I really need to say more than that? And with kids, I've interviewed 52 divorcing couples and interviewed more than 2 million women about their careers, especially when the children leave the nest and they leave a broken person, right? A broken person. The mother, especially the mother, contributes so much to raising those children. There's no gratitude. Then she feels empty and broken because she devoted her life. Now she has no life, right? Number 6 is division of labor. If you're married and you constantly have conversations or arguments about division of labor, your life is screwed. You haven't really designed your life. And I'll explain that in a minute. Number 5 is buying a new car. Who the hell buys a new car? I've made that mistake twice in my life and deeply regret it. One of the worst cars that I bought brand new was a Lamborghini, and never do that. Buying a home. Number 4 is buying a home to live in. Think about this. Most people, they dream of buying their own home, getting a mortgage, paying a 30-year mortgage and paying 3 or 4 times the value of the home. So if you're buying a $1 million home, and in Toronto, you can't buy a home under 1.5. So if you're buying $1 million home, you're paying about 3 or 4 million for that home by having a mortgage, right? So what did I do? I bought my first house, created second income from the basement, and that's how the construction business started by accident. And I told myself I was not going to move into that house until it was free and clear. So I allowed other people to pay my house for me. When it was free and clear, then I moved in, right? After my first divorce, where I lost $7 million, I bought a house with the intentions of having 10 roommates, right? And those 10 roommates gave me not only did I live rent-free, I had a $2,500 a month positive cash flow. So it is possible to buy a house, create positive cash flow, and allow somebody else to pay your mortgage for you. And believe it or not, those were one of the best years of my life. Some of my best friends that I play beach volleyball with today came from those roommates. Okay, people going through a divorce, people going through a separation, people getting another job in a different city, didn't want to move the family until they knew the job was going to work out, so they needed a temporary residence. Those were the people I attracted. I created CEO clubs, mastermind groups. We had spaghetti nights, movie nights, poker nights. We had off-road biking. We had ski trips. We had a lot of fun, and it was a great time in my life. So buying a home and getting roommates doesn't have to be misery. It can be the best time of your life. Number 3 is university.
Honestly,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, Leah, you're completely right with that. I think some of the most fondest memories that I've made in my entire life came from those that I ended up living with. I know that I've had, like, don't get it twisted, I have met people where I'm like, I absolutely despise this person, and that you have to live with them, but I think you have a better chance of actually getting to know someone properly if you live with them for a certain amount of time, and your life is a little bit more full when you do that.
Yes. I'll answer the questions in 30 seconds. So university degree is number 3. I deeply regret the university years. I was so convinced I was going to be an architect, and I was pretty good at it. Because I started my first construction business when I was 17, made my first million before I was 25. And I'm thinking, why am I going to university to be an architect when I'm running a successful business? And the catalyst, the straw that broke the camel's back, is we had a visiting professor come in to lecture to us. And, I put up my hand and I asked a question. And I said, how long is it going to be before I get my own projects? And they said, what's your name? Leo, is it? Don't even think about that. It's going to be at least 20 years before you get your own project. And I'm thinking, that's the wrong answer. That's bullshit. And 3 weeks later, I quit. I tried to convince myself, Leo, finish, get that piece of toilet paper put up on the wall. And I said, fuck that. And I quit 3 weeks later. So university, if I could go back in time, I would tell myself, I would find myself at 7, 8, 9, 12 years old. Don't wait until you're 17 to start a business. Start a business much earlier. Don't do the business you're thinking of starting. Start a painting business, a bookkeeping business, raw dog food. Start a simple business. Everybody wants to complicate their lives. Why? Keep it simple. The KISS principle, right? So university, think about it. And I think university is one of the biggest scams. And you're creating, a couple of $100,000 in debt if you're an American. Ivy League. Number 2 is cleaning your own house, cleaning your own yard, and loading the dishwasher. Okay? If you're doing that, and if you're arguing with your wife or husband about, cleaning the house, and let's say the husband comes home, and what he wants to do is sit down in front of the couch, watch the football game, play a video game, and have a beer. And if you're arguing about who's going to clean the house, your life is screwed. Your life is poorly designed, right? Because if you, instead of coming home and plopping on the couch, it means you had a horrible day. Design a business, right? When you're making $500,000 a year and you can afford a housekeeper, a cook, and someone to clean the yard, there's no more conversations about cleaning the house. The housekeeper does it, right? So design a proper life. And with a proper life, all the problems you're creating evaporate. Number 1, working with your hands. The biggest scam is working with your hands. And people are going to say, yeah, what if everybody just stopped working with their hands? Yeah, but not everybody's going to do it. 1% of 1% are actually going to listen to me. 1% of 1%. So it's not going to happen. Any questions or comments on that?
Leah, we got a question.
Go ahead.